friends, welcome back to the channel. Today is our second installment in the book, Let Food Be Your Medicine by Dr. Don Colbert. And if you missed our first excerpts from the book last week, I will link it in the description box below. Go back and watch it. You will get something out of it, guaranteed. But today we are going to talk about the chapter that says, losing weight for good. And while we know it's never a one and done thing, these are habits and ideas that will help you to go the distance. Just a little background, if you're new to my channel, which I did recently get some new subscribers from Maniac Grammy, and she is a grandma in Maine, one of my very favorite states, and she posts videos on homesteading, and she's delightful. So thank you, Brenda. But if you are new to my channel, I just wanted to let you know a little background. I started my weight loss journey at 248 pounds in December of 2018. I have since lost 65 pounds. I started off doing Weight Watchers, and now I am just tracking using the Lose It app and just implementing all the habits I've learned along the way, as well as tweaking some new ones. I'm always learning, and that's why I'm excited about this book, because I think that it gives us further knowledge about our journey of health and wellness. And we know that knowledge is power, because once we know the why behind something, then we have reasons. We have some stability behind why we should do the habits that we do. And when we know the why behind these desired health habits and the way we should eat, then we're more likely to stick with it because we understand it better. So just wanted to get into today's chapter. And so this is talking about losing weight for good. And it's talking about being overweight or obese multiplies your risk for 35 major diseases. Wow. Including but not limited to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, arthritis, hypertension, acid reflux, sleep apnea, Alzheimer's disease, infertility, gallbladder disease, and many different cancers. Wow. So then he says, where did this weight come from? Is the extra weight biological? Sure, some of it might be our genes or our metabolism. It could even be the result of emotional eating, which is where people try to deal with a stress, crisis, or anxiety, loneliness, or some other factor by eating food. This never works. I like the phrase that says the answer is not in the refrigerator. It's not. I've never been a stress eater. Actually, when I'm stressed, I don't eat. I don't feel like eating. Probably because my stomach is upset. But hubby has said that when he's stressed, that in the past, he's doing so good now on his weight loss journey, but in the past, that's when he goes and picks up Chinese carryout and maybe gets some fried wings, fried foods. That would definitely be his go-to if he's stressed. But now he's on the straight and narrow path. I think as of the other day, he's lost 38 pounds now since the end of May. So he's doing so well. Anyway, I digress. He says, Dr. Colbert says, most likely, however, part of our weight problem is due to lack of exercise. And I would amen this, because if you don't know my story, I had 3 surgeries in between 2016 and 2017 in a 12-month period. And I already needed to lose 50 pounds. But then through my surgeries, my bed rest, lots of pain, and surgical menopause, I gained another 50 pounds. So that led me on this 103-pound weight loss journey. So that is where I am now. I am on my way, but I will say deconditioning, just sitting around, laying around in my case, that is a surefire way to pack on the pounds for sure. He says, our society as a whole, from children to adults, requires less and less physical exercise to get things done. It's true, isn't it? The more technologically advanced we seem to get, the less physical we become. And that is evidenced by our expanding waistlines. Yes, that's true. Another common reason for weight gain is stress. Excessive stress messes with our cortisol levels, bringing on the toxic belly fat, our appetite hormones, and may trigger food addictions. Learn to chill out, he says. Yes, definitely. Self-care and some relaxation. Oh, speaking of which, I recently found on YouTube it's an app that you can get. It's called Abide, and it is ABIDE. And it is Christian meditations. And so they have like scriptures and waterfalls and just peaceful background music. And so it's a Christian version of some meditations. So as you're trying to maybe take a nap or sleep at night, I encourage you to check that out. I'll try to remember to link it in the description box below, but that will definitely help you to chill out. Another probability is the way we eat. Definitely. We consume too much sweet, processed, fried, packaged, boxed, and artificial food. Yes. In fact, it's downright scary. According to the USDA, the average American consumes anywhere between 150 to 170 pounds of refined sugars each year. That's crazy. That's alarming. It could also be the result of the wheat and the corn that we are eating. As you've already read in the previous chapter, he talks about the GMO and how that can cause a host of health and hormonal issues which promote weight gain. So yeah, the types of food that we now have, which is why I always say clean eating foods closest to their natural state, that is the way to go to avoid these problems. According to the CDC, about 70% of adults are overweight, 70%, and over 35% are obese. Those numbers are only increasing. From 1980 to 2000, obesity rates doubled. Wow, from 1980 to 2000. So in 20 years, obesity rates doubled among adults, doubled among children, and tripled among adolescents. Wow. And as the national obesity rates increase, so do our national rates of 35 major diseases. The main behaviors causing the obesity epidemic are, get this, preventable. It's preventable. It is not the byproduct of old age or getting a little bit older. No, it's the byproduct of what we're putting here and our sedentary lifestyles. So the good news is, and this is from me, Amber, there's something you can do about it. The power is in your hands. So what are those main behaviors that can be prevented? They are bad food choices, bad beverage choices, and physical inactivity. Yes. So we can therefore overcome obesity by doing the very opposite. Stands to reason, right? Good food choices, good beverage choices, and physical activity. So where weight loss begins. I start weight loss patients, he says, with the healthy lifestyle diet of the modified Mediterranean diet. And so that is the focus of some subsequent chapters, which I will be sharing. It's not only the foundation to good health, but it is a lifestyle they can follow for years and years to come, which means their weight loss will be a permanent fixture rather than a passing fad. Yes. So he talks about the proposed kind of food pyramid being the bulk of your food being fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, and legumes, and salads, etc. And then the second tier would be steel-cut oats, quinoa, millet, or brown rice and sweet potatoes, and then olive oil and other vegetable oils, cheese and yogurt in small amounts, fish eaten more than other meats, chicken, turkey, eggs, and red meat, very, very tiny. So then we move on to talk about an acronym that he's using, the HAT acronym. So H is for hormones. The fact that our bodies produce many different hormones that regulate more things than we will probably ever know is really no news flash. We hear the phrase hormone imbalance thrown around all the time, whether we know what that truly means or not. But when dealing with the appetite, hunger, and obesity, there are two key hormones that you must be familiar with. And we talked about those before. They are leptin and ghrelin. Leptin, this hormone, tells your body that you are full, and ghrelin tells your body that you are hungry. All right, now for the good part. Let's get practical and discuss real ways to control these ghrelin and leptin hormones. Again, the answer is through the food you eat and through the lifestyle you choose to create, and I choose. So the choice is ours. So the following things will help. Avoid MSG. And did you know this, you guys? MSG messes with your leptin hormone, so you eat more and get hungrier sooner. Do you know how many foods MSG is in? I recently was talking about the Quaker little cheddar or rice cake snack packs that MSG was in them. And of course, Doritos and a lot of the chips, they want you to eat more. It's a sales gimmick, so you can buy more, right? This is not good for us. The second one is avoid or minimize fructose. Fructose prevents leptin and insulin from elevating to normal levels after a meal, which then increases your ghrelin and triglyceride levels, and you eat more. Wow. Fructose is in fruit juices and soft drinks. So by consuming the soft drinks, it makes you, isn't that interesting that it elevates your triglycerides too? We tend to think that the only thing that does that is fats, but sugars also. So not only are you going to eat more as a result of that Coke or Pepsi or whatever your beverage of choice is, but it increases your ghrelin hormone, which tells your body that you're hungry. That's not good. So, and then of course it says avoid low calorie diets, which are 1,000 calories or less a day, because eating food helps to balance our hormones that trigger uncontrollable hunger and weight gain. And then he says, eat every 4 hours. Ghrelin is produced and secreted on a 4-hour cycle. To keep ghrelin low, eat on schedule every 3 to 4 hours. Leptin levels are decreased after fasting 24 to 72 hours. And eat high fiber foods. Ghrelin levels remain high until food stretches the wall of your stomach, making you feel full. So high volume, low calorie, nutrient dense foods reduce the ghrelin, and just think of the ghrelin goblin. You don't want that to be high because that tells you you're hungry and ravenous. And increase leptin levels long before you have eaten too much. Salads are a good high fiber food because it takes your body longer to digest. And then, very important, very key, foundational, I would say, one of the key foundations to weight loss, sleep. Get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. And this is something I have definitely been working on, going to bed earlier, reading at night to just kind of quiet my mind. Less sleep means higher ghrelin levels. So if you're not getting enough sleep, your ghrelin hormone is really higher than it should be, and you're probably eating more because of it. Lower, it means lower leptin levels, greater hunger, and higher body weight. Isn't that something? Eat proteins at every meal. Yes, protein takes longer to digest and lowers your ghrelin levels. Reduce stress. Take short walks, meditate, take a bath, do yoga, listen to soothing music, or check out that Abide app. Increase omega-3 fats. This both boosts leptin and helps knock out leptin resistance. Grass-fed meats, walnuts, salmon, anchovies, sardines, trout, chia seeds, flax seeds, Summer squash and kale are good. And heal your gut. This helps with appetite issues. Clearly, this is a vicious cycle, one that must be broken as quickly as possible. The modified Mediterranean diet is a great answer because it helps to balance those two appetite hormones. That's something. And then it had this little tidbit, little trivia thing. It says a waist measurement of 35 inches for women or 40 inches for men is usually associated with pre-diabetes. So the thicker our waists are, it's really not good for our health. He says, on a practical note, you should drink 1 to 2 quarts of water daily, which is our topic on Wednesday, beginning as soon as you wake up, because this flushes out toxins that have built up overnight. Exercise 15 to 30 minutes daily with a good walk in the morning, and follow your eating plan. And then he talks about positive self-affirmations. Obviously, it's harder to lose weight if we're always hard on ourselves and kind of have a negative attitude. So we need to have positive affirmations. And then he talks about timing. This is an interesting bit, you guys. And then I'm wrapping up. He talks about not only is what we eat important, so is when we eat it. Listen to this. At the common sense level, this is only logical. You have no doubt seen a race where people are handing out cups of water or energy bars as the runners pass. At that precise moment, those runners needed that intake of liquids or food. Yesterday's intake or last week's intake would, of course, mean nothing at that moment. The timing is what is important. With weight loss, timing is incredibly important, as you will soon see. The Tel Aviv University conducted a very interesting study that not only sheds light on the power of timing, it sheds pounds in a major way. Listen to this. For the study, they chose 93 obese women and randomly assigned them to eat the same foods totaling 1,400 calories for 12 weeks. Half of the women ate at the same timing as we usually do. With a small breakfast, they were allowed 200 calories, medium lunch, 500 calories, and a big dinner, which is 700 calories, while the other half had the exact opposite. This was the big shift in timing. They had their 1,400 calories in reverse, with 700 calories at breakfast, 500 calories for lunch, and 200 calories at dinner. A little tidbit before I continue with this little story. It says the USDA reports that 44% of Americans eat breakfast every day, which means 56% are not eating breakfast at all. Then he goes on to say, our children do what we do. True. But back to this study. Fast forward 12 weeks, and the statistics were staggering. The big breakfast group had lost, on average, 17.8 pounds each, not to mention 3 inches off of their waistline. Wow, that sounds awesome. Sign me up. The big dinner group, they had lost just 7.3 pounds and only 1.4 inches at the waist. The difference was timing. As amazing as this was to see, all of these changes were on the outside. Remember, there's always something happening at the hormonal, metabolic, and biochemical levels. That's interesting, isn't it? At this level, few people are aware of what is happening, but you need to be aware for it will be mental and physical ammunition for your weight loss fight. So isn't that interesting? They consumed the same number of calories, 1,400 calories, but they ate a big breakfast, medium lunch, and smaller dinner. And he says throughout the book, and something that I am trying to adopt in my life, and that is eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. So that is something that I am changing. He says foods that usually lead to weight loss. There are 7 here. You might want to write them down. You could pause it. So number 1, green tea. So that is something I'm doing mostly in the afternoon. I'll have a cup of green tea. Leafy green vegetables, wild salmon, dark chocolate. Ooh, sign me up. Greek yogurt, berries, lemons, limes, Granny Smith apples. I did just buy some Granny Smiths. And steel cut oats. And I've been doing that also. So that is very interesting, isn't it? So he says, this is one of his little thoughts. Most chronic diseases are choice diseases. We don't catch them. We develop them by consistently choosing the wrong foods. Wow. So, and then the study conclusively showed just how important timing is to weight loss. Within 3 months, the big breakfast group proved that fact by losing almost 3 times as much weight as the big dinner group, in spite of the fact that they had the same exact number of calories. That's really interesting. So yeah, I think this quote bears repeating. Most chronic diseases are choice diseases. We don't catch them. We develop them by consistently choosing the wrong foods. But don't despair. There is hope, and the power is in your hand and my hand. We can make small choices every day, and they do add up. Where I am today in August 2021, almost 3 years after I've started my journey, is not where I was when I started. You know, there's no comparison. I've learned so much along the way. Not only have I learned so much about weight loss and the process, but I've also learned a lot about myself. And I have learned that I can do anything that I put my mind to. I've also learned that many times things don't happen in the timing that I would like, as in life in general, right? But if we keep putting one foot in front of the other, eventually, one day, I will arrive at my goal. And so I hope that that message of hope and empowerment to you shines through in this channel, because that is what it is all about. We don't compare ourselves to others because we know that comparison is the thief of joy. So the person I compare myself to is the person I was yesterday. And so I'm daily trying to make better choices than I did yesterday, trying to move more than I did yesterday, and just to look forward to reaching my goal, but also appreciating how far I've come. So thank you for joining me today for the Losing Weight for Good chapter in this book, Let Food Be Your Medicine by Dr. Don Colbert. In the next segment, we will review another chapter, and I hope you will join me for that. So God bless. Comment below if you've enjoyed this and what you've gotten out of it, and maybe if you plan to purchase the book. I definitely recommend it, or check with your local library maybe. But until next time, I'll see you soon. God bless.